Good morning. I'm James Hagan, the MC at eTourism New Zealand Conference 2012, being held in Auckland on the 19th and 20th of September. Welcome to this, the second in our series of 10 Minute on Tuesday podcasts, designed to introduce you to some of the speakers and sessions at this year's conference. As I'm sure you'll have spotted on the programme, we're really mixing things up a lot this year. Our session formats will take many forms, including workshops, panels, presentations, keynotes, and roundtables, giving you an opportunity to interact with our speakers, to ask all those technical questions that you might not have been able to ask anyone before. Today, I'm actually joined by Clive Copeman, my fellow director and colleague at Destination Content. Clive will be co-presenting a workshop on the role of video in tourism with me, as well as hosting roundtables on telling an effective story each morning. A big welcome, Clive.
Hi, James. It's a pleasure to join you for this.
So you really have done it all when it comes to content production. Tell us a little bit about your background.
Well, I've worked in television for the last 20 plus years. I originally started out as a zoology student wanting to make wildlife films. So after studying zoology and then broadcasting, I worked in television in actually a wider range than just wildlife films. I wrote a lot of science documentaries and series, history, children's series, even some comedy. But the consistent thing throughout that part of my career, both writing and directing television, was story. I've had a very strong leaning towards story. I think story is paramount in broadcasting. And I've often worked as either story consultant or script consultant or story executive on productions.
That's great. And in more recent years, obviously I know because I work with you on a day-to-day basis, you've moved to commercial photography.
Yeah, I had some wonderful experiences in television, both in front of the camera and then in post-production, doing a lot of writing and directing. And I decided it was time to get more hands-on with image making. So the last several years I've been a commercial photographer, just trying to take a break from moving images and working with the script or with the cut film. And working more closely with images to tell stories. Sometimes it's a more economical way of getting a message through and a chance for me to learn a new discipline.
So it doesn't stop at photography or filmmaking either. You've obviously done a little bit of work when it comes to words as well.
Yeah, the bulk of what I've done in television is script writing. But I've also written a few articles for magazines and just published a historical book this year on the history of business.
Well, it'll be really great to have you along and talk a little bit about the power of storytelling. So on that note, I suppose you're somewhat of a new kid to tourism, so to speak. So how are you finding the crossover into the industry since co-founding Destination Content?
Well, to be truthful, it's not that much of a leap. I'm still creating content. A lot of what I did in the past in television was I would be in charge of the content that we generated, say the raw footage, or I'd write a script that prescribed the footage that we would go out to get. And then I would work closely with the client, who would be an executive producer, say, at a channel like Discovery Channel, and fashion the finished film to their needs. And that was a process of back and forth. I'd submit several cuts and get to a place where, I was happy with the finished product and they were. And this is no different. And I'm still telling stories.
And within your stills photography, I'm aware that you've done quite a bit of work in terms of tourism operators and destinations as well. Tell us a little bit about some of the people you've worked with in that respect.
Yeah, that's true, and that's been similar to some of my filmmaking experience. Going out on location is always something I've enjoyed. So let's see, I've worked for Tourism New Zealand, Tourism Dunedin, Tourism Waitaki, just on some local shoots. Also hosting photographers for those tourism organisations. Taking pictures of people in places and again, telling stories with pictures.
And I think that's a really key point and something that we're obviously working on very hard at Destination Content, but something that Tourism New Zealand are very much promoting right now. It's about putting people in the picture. A picture can be anywhere. Putting people in the picture shows that people, first of all, can get there, and secondly, that you can put yourself in that picture in place of that person.
It's true, and places come alive when you put people in. It's as simple as that.
That's great. And so we talked a little bit about story. Can you maybe tell me a little bit more around why you think it's so important to tell a story rather than us just giving features and benefits as so many tourism marketing professionals do? Really, as I said, turning that into a story.
Sure. I'll tell you a little bit of my experience. My personal experience was I came straight from university and then broadcasting school into working in television. And my first scripts were really illustrated lectures. I'd come from a science background, so I would categorize my facts and list them because these were important things, facts that I really wanted to get across. And in those early days, I really wasn't telling a story. And, I'd get critique of my script saying, your script here needs a beginning, a middle, and an end. It needs to be fashioned into a story because that's what's going to engage the casual observer and viewer. It's all very well to deliver a lecture, but the only people who go to lectures are people who really want to be there and are really seeking information. That's not the average person. The average person needs to be engaged, and the way to engage them is with a story. And a story isn't just a list of stuff. To make a story, we have to work a little bit harder to present information in a way that makes sense, that flows and engages and entertains people. That's not hard, but it does take skill and experience.
And what are the key takeaways in terms of that story and the workshop we're delivering from your perspective? What are those takeaways that you hope people will be able to go away with?
I insist on some fundamental things with my storytelling, and I always advise in some of the lectures I do on storytelling to people that, stories have certain fundamental things. They often have a hero. It's good to get people into your story. If you've got a message, tie it to a person. The heroes in our stories often have struggles. That's why we're interested. Heroes have qualities we like, so let's put a likable person on screen to tell the story of what they're doing, of the place they're trying to sell. Those are the things that are going to engage and keep an audience watching and get your message and your facts across.
Well, without giving too much more away, we want people to attend our workshop on the day. I think we'll maybe call it a day just now. But I really want to say thank you very much for taking the time here, Clive. It's been really great, and I think our combined experience and insights will be a really great opportunity to share those insights and experience on the day. So big thank you.
Thank you, and I'm looking forward to it.
And for all those of you listening, be sure to visit www.etourismnz.com to book your space at the early bird rate for a week or so more, I believe. And of course, a big thank you for listening. We look forward to seeing you in September.